Another glorious Tuesday for gamers all around. Tuesdays, of course, is the best day of the week for us, as we know that it's the day that new content gets released, new games come out, new add-ons are released, new things such as, for example, in Heroes of the Storm, a new character gets added to the roster, which is always exciting, getting to see a new character be added to the mix of this game. And so now we once again delve back into Sanctuary, as now we have a character added by the name of Zool. No, not that Zool, not the Zool from Ghostbusters. Although that would be amazing. Blizzard, if you could make that happen somehow. No. We are actually talking about the Zool, who is known by many as the Necromancer from Diablo 2. Yes, we are done with the classes from Diablo 3, as all of them have been added to this game, so now we are delving back to Diablo 2, which is, I'm sure, pleasing to many who absolutely love that game to death. And so we choose what many consider their fan-favorite class of that game. I never actually played the game myself, so I can't say, but I know that many people talked about how the Necromancer class in that game was like one of their favorite classes to play. It was a lot of fun to play due to some of the abilities you could use. And so he makes his way now into the Nexus. Zool. He is a specialist, which I absolutely love my specialists. Guys like Asmodan and Murky and Zagara. I'm working on Sylvanas. I have her at 9. So he's a medium difficulty. Now, from what I've seen, he's my kind of character in terms of being what he can do. But first, let's get to know him a bit. The cryptic necromancer. From the recesses of the eastern jungles comes a man cloaked in mystery. As a member of the secretive priests of Rathma, or the necromancers, Zool wields powerful death magic and fights to preserve the delicate balance between order and chaos. Just like the other heroes from Diablo 2. So, first off, let's, of course, take a look at his skins. This is his basic look, with a big scythe here, and then a dagger here. I love the scythe because it kind of reminds me of Death from Darksiders. I just love, it'd be amazing if we had a second scythe, but I still like this look here. I love, with the dagger as well. It's pretty cool. Here's variations. Turns yellow, and his hair goes black. Oh, look at that. Oh, it adds some face paint to his face there, covering his eyes as they go red. Oh, that looks awesome. And the tattoos on his shoulders and his hands. Oh, that's so cool. His master skin. Oh, I love this master skin. Look at that. The touch on his scythe and his dagger and this armor. Oh, this armor looks awesome. This is a master skin I really like. Ooh, you could have it go black and white with red eyes. Oh, that looks so cool. Oh, and look at this. Red with gold and black. Oh, that looks awesome. And then here's an interesting alternate skin called the Serpent King, Zool. Huh. Like he rules the serpents in Egypt. Kind of interesting. You can go green here. Kind of brownish. So what is he like? Well, he is a specialist. So here are his abilities. He's got Spectral Scythe, where he throws a scythe that damages enemies as it returns to you. So you can summon it from a far off point and then it comes back to you. So it doesn't go from you and then back to you. It starts off away from you and then it, so it's a kind of a nice way to try and catch someone, or attack from behind. It's pretty cool in that regard. Curse Strikes. Your basic attacks deal damage in a wide area and reduces the attack speed of enemies by 50% per 2 seconds, and it lasts 4 seconds once it's triggered. So it's an interesting, kind of, think of Leoric's Skeletal Swing in that regard. So it doesn't say it does more damage. It just deals damage in a wide area, but it reduces their attack speed. So it's actually pretty useful, not just for team fights, but also for clearing lanes, which is what you'll probably be doing a lot with him anyway, because he is a specialist, and that's what they're good at. Bone Prison. Roots an enemy in place. After a 2-second delay, deals 80 damage and roots the target enemy hero for 2 seconds. So this can be pretty useful, although I saw in the Spotlight video that certain heroes can get out of it during those 2 seconds, such as Muradin or Sylvanas. So you gotta be careful who you use it on, because you could waste it by putting it on someone who could actually get out of it. His trait, and this is pretty cool, Raise Skeleton. When a nearby enemy minion dies, it becomes a skeletal warrior that attacks for 30 damage and lasts up to 15 seconds. Up to 4 Skeletal Warriors can be active at once. So, when you think about it, it's kind of similar to Asmodan, how he can summon his lieutenant to kind of help fight with the other minions, or how Sylvanas' trait, Black Arrows, can stun. Well, you can just turn their minions, or the enemy minions, into your own, adding to your own minions. So you can basically raise an army against, in lanes, which is already going to make him one of the best lane pushers and specialists in the game. I think I'm going to have fun with that trait, playing with this guy. So his 2 heroics are interesting. One is called Poison Nova. After a short delay, releases poisonous missiles that deal 570 damage to all enemies hit over 10 seconds, and it spreads out in every direction from you. This is ideal for team fights. So if you end up on a map such as Cursed Hollow or the Temples, where you're going to probably end up in team fights with your team, this of course depends whether or not you choose to dedicate your character to just lane pushing, or to actually do a hybrid where you both push lanes but also help out your team in fights, because he can actually be pretty good in team fights based on what kind of build he's got in his abilities. And that costs 100 mana and it has a 90-second cooldown. Now the other heroic costs less mana, 80, and has a smaller cooldown, 70. Skeletal Mages. Summons 4 Frost Mages in a line that attacks nearby enemies for 47 damage a second and slows them by 30% for 2 seconds, lasts up to 15 seconds. So this can also be used a lot if, let's say, you want to get away and you want to use this to try and slow down your opponents from either catching you or from getting away if you're in pursuit. Or if you're in an area where you want to ball them up and slow them down so that either you or your teammates can help them out. So either one of these heroics can be pretty useful. And it's going to be hard to choose between one or the other. It may depend on the comps. It may depend on the map. Because either one can be very useful. And you may want, if you want to use it more often, you could go with this one. But this probably could do, more damage, which is probably the idea, the concept, which is why Blizzard has somewhat nerfed or buffed certain heroics for certain characters recently. Like, they made Falstad's Blast ability, Hinterland Blast, give it like a 120-second cooldown, but increase the damage, wanting to make it more impactful when it's used. So I think that's the idea here between these two. Now, here's the important thing, his talent tree. Now, another ability he's got is called Bone Armor, and that's an activated ability, which is used on the number 1 key. And your first talent will be how you want that to be used. You can either have it explode for damage equal to 50% of their maximum health, have it slow enemies by 30% for 1 second, or have it evade all basic attacks but increases the cooldown by 10 seconds. So I've experimented with 2 of these because I've only played 2 matches with him in training, just see what he was like, get a feel for him, what kind of build I would go with. And I experiment with these 2. I mean, this seems ideal, but the extra 10 seconds could be bad. I think it may depend, but I don't know. I'm not really sure which one is best yet. I'm sure others will figure this out and which one is more ideal. I mean, that's nice, but it's only for 1 second, so I'm not really sure how good it's going to be. This, it didn't really seem to do that much, so I don't know. Maybe I'll actually try this, see how long the cooldown ends up being. So here is where things can get interesting. You can go with a raised skeleton build just for your trait, like in each talent one. You can go with, and here's the build I'm talking about. Trag'Ghul's Essence, which raises skeletons, restored mana. You gain 8 mana when you raise a Skeletal Warrior. At 7, you can have them also heal you. Raising a Skeletal Warrior heals you for 66, Rathma's Blessing. At 10, obviously the heroics. 13, Corpse Explosion. The Skeletal Warriors explode on death. When they die, they explode for 65 damage in a small area. Deals 100% increased damage to non-heroic enemies. 16, Skeletal Mastery. Increases the maximum number of Skeletal Warriors that you can have to 6, and it increases their damage by 100%. And then 20, here are the 20, so that's the Skeletal Warrior trait build that I think that you could go with. Now, if you want to go for one that can also help out in other areas, such as fights, you could either increase the range of the Scythe by 20%, or have the Bone Prison spawn 2 Skeletal Warriors that will fixate on the enemy that's trapped for 15 seconds, and doesn't count towards your raised skeleton maximum, so that can also help in fights. 7, you can go with that, or you can buff Curse Strikes. Have it against heroes will actually heal you for 6 for each enemy hero hit. And the attack speed slow from 50% to 75%. At 13, you can have Spectral Scythe slow enemies by 40% for 3 seconds, or have Curse Strikes damage to heroes, an additional 2% of maximum health to damage to heroes. And at 16, you can have Bone Prison make them vulnerable by having them take an extra 25% for 2 seconds, which is kind of like Sylvanas' Dagger's vulnerable talent, and reduces the cooldown if the hero is hit. That seems okay, but I think I would go with either Amplified Damage or Skeletal Mastery. So, and then the 20 talents. Late game. You could have it increase the damage, have it deal an additional 1% of the target's maximum health or life as damage every second. Raised Mage, when a nearby enemy hero dies, a Frost Mage appears from their corpse to fight for you. Also increases the slow of Frost Mages from 30% to 50%. That seems awesome, that every time someone goes down, a mage will just all of a sudden spawn. I mean, if that's automatic and not like an activated thing, if that just automatically happens, that sounds awesome. Here's an interesting thing. You can actually buff your Q ability. I don't think I've ever actually seen that for a 20 talent where you can buff your Q ability. Enemies hit by the Scythe receive 75% less healing for 4 seconds. Now here's another one. It's kind of like Lunara's Heroic. You deal 260 damage to enemies in a line per 10 seconds. So, like with a 10-second cooldown. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure how much better this is. I think this sounds awesome. So if that's the case, I don't know. I think I may want to lean more towards Skeletal Mages, but Nova just seems so good for team fights. It really depends on what else is going on. Like the comp and how the team is doing. If you have to help out with team fights or if you can just focus on laning. What the map is. So that's Zul. And here's his skin. And so like before with Li Ming, I know everybody's going to want to play. So the wait time in Quick Match is going to be insane. So for this showcase video, because of course the point is for me to try and showcase how the character is in this game, we're going to do versus AI, and I'm going to buff up the difficulty to Veteran, just so we can get a bit more of a challenge. It's a little bit of an extra wait, but not going to be as long as it is for if it was in Quick Match. Let me also turn the game audio up. There we go. Oh, and also they actually added a new feature. You can actually let your teammates know in chat about things such as the cooldown of your heroic. You can press the Alt button and then left click on like one of your abilities to let them know either like how much of a cooldown you still have, how many charges of that ability you have, so to let them know, hey, my heroic is ready to go. We can get in a fight if you want, or no, wait, my heroic has this much of a cooldown. So that could be a very useful feature to help out communicating with your teammates about things such as fights and such. Not having to type it out, but rather just having to alt click it. So that could be very useful. Currently at 31, although I'll tell you guys what, I don't know how people are getting to high ranks in Heroic League with the struggles that I've encountered. I mean, you have to have a string of the right people with the right comps, not going up against comps that are good counters to yours. And then, of course, you have to hope that the people that are playing with you don't decide to quit or throw fits, or throw a game for your team, because that's the thing everyone recognizes in this game. Not one person can win a game for your team, but it does take only one person to lose a game for your team. One person can just quit, and that's it. Like, it would take a ridiculous miracle for you to actually win with a teammate who decides not to play for you. And I wonder how the reporting system goes in that. So, alright, so enough of that. To give you guys a little update on how I'm doing. I mentioned that I love me my specialists. I like, you know, I love playing Zagara, Asmodan. Oh, Murky. Oh, hold on. BGC, Artanis, Nova, and Greymane. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Not too fond of this map. I've had some bad experiences on this map. But we'll see how it goes since we're only playing against AI.
Begins shortly.
Alright, so let's go with Shade. Let's try it out. So the cooldown is 30 seconds now instead of 20 seconds. Alright.
Battle begins in 10
Oh, this is his mount, by the way, his special mount, this Serpent Rider, or whatever it is. So let's take a look at his taunt. Whoops.
Let the battle begin.
You're right to fear me, but it will do you.
Let's see his dance. That's kind of funny. Whoa! Alright, so the enemy team, Joanna, Greymane, Zool, Kael'thas, and Falstad.
Shatter the
Get out of here, Falstad! Yes, my minions, yes! Ah, he's got his own skeletal army. Ah, he put me in the book. I'm going up against myself. It's a mirror match.
You're in rough shape.
Alright, let's switch over. Let's first go to the fountain. Hang on, Artanis. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Yes. Oh, my minions. Alright, so... Alright, considering how much it emphasizes taking down minions in this map, let's go with our raised skeleton build.
The familiar scent of death.
The familiar scent of death. Oh, one of the funny things that Zool says in the shop, he says like, Battle.net seems shinier than I remember. Of course, making a joke about how Battle.net used to be for during the days of Diablo 2, which back then was not that great. I've heard stories about how Diablo 2 is one of the most hacked games ever.
Forward.
Uh-oh. Okay, so if I encounter someone, he's of course is not that durable. He's might be a tad bit squishy.
A worthwhile pursuit.
Alright, let's go back to base. Veteran AI, pretty strong. Oh boy, I better go over here and help out. Get the gems!
Into the blackened night.
That's a good ability to have to be able to get away. Want to get away? I'm gonna die. Yeah, good job, team. Oh man, the AI turned it in. The AI Zool. Oh, it's the Master Skin Zool. I didn't notice that at first. Oh boy.
Within this place.
I may have to go against my counterpart here to try and counter what he's doing. I'm gonna go up here and heal. Try and turn in.
Again. Return the gems to me.
Death within this place.
I'll try and turn in so we can get those spiders. There we go. Alright, let's go with skeletal mages. Get away from me, Greymane! Ah, man. Get him, Nova! Ah, wrong way, Spider Queen. Should have shot it that way.
Within this place.
Oh my gosh. Alright, I better run before that thing attacks me. Let's see how much these guys can actually help out taking down the structures here. Help out.
From being consumed by oblivion.
There we go.
Used to remain.
I better run.
It shall aid them.
Great. Okay, maybe going veteran wasn't the best idea. Oh man. AI Kelthus is just as annoying as real player Kelthus.
Will be preserved.
I don't have any mana. Ah, man, I died. Ah. I wasn't keeping track of my mana.
Destroy. Reclaim the gems, my lord. No mercy.
Cycle of being begins anew.
Man, the difference between veteran AI and adept AI is actually probably quite big, surprisingly. I don't remember adept AI getting access to this level.
The leader of the necromancers is no better.
Alright, I'm gonna go grab these giants here. Yeah, you guys go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and try and focus down here. So you can't use it on mercs. That's great.
Celebration is in order.
Alright, so that should help
Better hit up a healing fountain ASAP.
with bottom lane.
Forward.
Puts them on that side. Yeah, here we go. Mastery. Let's do that. Whoops, wrong way. Alright, you know what? Let's run. Let's run, let's run, let's run. Oh, the AI got the boss. I didn't realize that. Whoops.
Unto darkness.
Wow.
Make my exit.
My whole team got killed.
Is at my command.
Oh my goodness. I may have actually helped save the game for my team.
The familiar scent of death. So be it.
Yeesh. Alright, let's see if what I can do here in top lane. Run, I'm gonna die. I am gonna die. Unless my team comes to save me. Let's go to the fountain.
Yes, their forts must fall.
Let's go down here and get these giants. See if I can cause a distraction in bottom lane.
The balance will be preserved as the balance decrees. The journey begins.
Oh, so it's actually 40 seconds, not 30 seconds. Alright, let's go back to base. That should at least cause a distraction in bottom. Oh, yeah, they're all in bottom lane. Oh, man.
Forward unto darkness. Capture this mercenary camp.
C turned in. Good, good, good.
Not romance the dead. That's enough.
Alright. Raised mage, there we go. Oh boy, here come the spiders. Alright, I'm gonna have to help out top lane.
Descend upon you.
There we go. Let's go and help out mid. Oh man. Here we go. Ah! Man. Well, now the AI may win it.
The gems. Bring them. Bring me their power.
Although they could only actually push top. Oh, boss is up. Oh boy. See, if these were human players, they would go like right to the boss with 4 of us dead. Oh, looks like they're gonna try and push mid. Careful, ETC.
Hold on. Death within this place.
Okay. Oh man, I was stunned and I was pressing 1 so I could use bone armor, and I got stunned and I couldn't use it. Kael'thas's stun just completely made it where I could not even use it. Oh man. Oh wow.
The enemy is attacking your core.
Alright, those two have what we need. Go turn in. Oh boy, AI's waiting for him. Oh boy. Turn in.
So that's what death feels like. I miss it already.
Oh yeah, look at that. The extra mages. Oh, that's awesome. That's automatic. That is so cool.
Gems. I need their power.
Oh boy, we gotta go defend. Oh, there goes that.
Destroy the fort.
Bring out your daggers.
Enemy.
Here we go, here we go. Pushing them back, pushing them back, pushing them back. Yeah, that's more like it.
Killing spree.
Let's see if I can go help up here. Too close to that tower and died. Oh man. Let's see if my teammates can finish them off. Oh, they may die before they can. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. Come on, ETC. Ah, run away. Run. Oh, look at Nova. Ah, triple tap. Uh-oh, Falstad's going after her. Oh boy. Strangelove. Ooh, Dr. Strangelove. I know that name. That's that, I know that character from Metal Gear Solid. Alright, we made a good push back. Probably gonna have to go work on top lane.
Capture this mercenary camp.
Run. Don't confront them right now. That's not a good idea.
Feels like. I miss it already.
Alright, let's see if I can take this on by myself. Let's see how effective Zool is at taking on a Nightcamp by himself. Oh, excuse me.
We have done well here.
Let me also try and get these giants, although I need to fend off the top lane. Oh boy, they're getting these knights. Can I get there in time to help my team? There we go. Yeah, here we go. Push to win. Push to win! Yeah! Oh my gosh!
Victory!
Well, I can tell you right now, I think he's gonna be just as good of a specialist as Asmodan, as Murky, as Sylvanas, as Zagara. Although Zagara can be really good at hero damage, as well, just as much as siege damage. I mean, look at that, 267,189 siege damage. I mean, heck, the AI Zool did, you know, just as well for that team. Look at that XP. Yeah. I can tell you right now, I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this character. And, I mean, that was just one build I went with. I went with the skeletal, you know, Ray Skeleton Warrior build, you know, along with the Skeleton Mages. I mean, which I loved that if a hero dies, that it goes down like that. That seems really cool. A really cool passive, in addition to the Skeletal Warrior thing. I mean, obviously, I showed the other possible build you could go with that could be more effective for team fights. I mean, it all depends how you want to play the character, what the rest of your team is doing, what map you're on. You know, is there going to be an emphasis on laning, on taking down minions, or are you going to be emphasizing team fights more? It really depends on what's going on around you to decide what build you go with. So that is the newest hero, Zool, a specialist that I can tell you right now, I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this guy. And, he's going to be just as good as any of the other specialists. Obviously, it depends on how you build him, what build you go with. But he seems pretty fun. I'm not sure if he's going to be OP. I mean, yeah, there was that one point where I thought it was over, and I was actually able to take out all those AI by myself. But that's, you know, it was kind of like the circumstances just went right. You know, especially with the Skeletal Mages being able to help me out, so I'm not sure if I could have done that with the Poison Nova or not, but yeah, pretty cool character. I don't know if he's gonna be OP like Li Ming was during the first run that first couple weeks that she was out, but yeah, so definitely a thumbs up for me for Zool. I think he's gonna be one I'm gonna enjoy playing. He may end up dying, but, you know, when it comes to specialists, it all depends on how you play, because if you push a lot, you're probably going to die quite a bit, because then they'll be like, oh, go get that guy, he's pushing our lane, and then you get swarmed. But as long as the rest of your teammates are good at taking advantage of me providing a distraction, then, you know, and this is something that comes into play whenever you play a specialist, either in ranked play or whatever, if you're playing Murky or Asmodan or Sylvanas, if they focus on laning, or if they also help out in the team fights or whatever, or objectives. So I could see, you know, it going either way based on the builds you could go with. So that is Zool, everyone, and as always, till the next time they add a new hero. I don't know if they've already announced who's gonna be the next hero or not. I have no idea who it's gonna be, but the fact that now they're delving into other areas such as the classes of Diablo 2 and such, who knows who else they may choose to add to this. I'm still hoping for Deckard Cain. But until then, I will see you guys when the next hero comes out. See you then.